Welcome back to Cultural Geography. In case you forgot what class you were in, hopefully you've managed to take the Chapter 17 test, have all of that stuff finished and ready to go. This is the last video that we'll be doing this week. You guys may have noticed that there was a video that I posted onto your playlist between the end of Chapter 17 and this one, basically giving some information over the Passover. Since we're starting a chapter over this area of the world, and Israel's one of the countries mentioned here, and it is the Easter week, I thought it'd be very relevant to just give you some additional information on the Passover. You can look at that, find anything noteworthy out of that. It's not going to be on any test or anything, but in case that interested you at all, perhaps the reason, the biblical, the historical reasoning for why we have the Passover holiday. You should have in your packet the cultural metaphor that we're going to be covering today. Remember, I'm using Martin J. Gannon's book, Understanding Global Cultures, and one of the cultural metaphors he's using is called the Turkish coffee house. The first culture we'll talk about is the people of Turkey. S. Bisbee said in 1951, the prime ingredients of the Turks' idea of fun and amusement seem to be relaxation, imagination, sociability, and humor. Sitting is almost, if not quite, the most popular recreation of all. Turks sit at windows in gardens, at coffee houses, anywhere and everywhere they can see a pleasing view and relax in conversation. One more thing before we get started. This is your bonus assignment. Yeah, I'm even offering you guys a bonus assignment, even if I don't get to see you guys. This is your bonus assignment. Really simple. Whenever we take the Chapter 18 test, might be next week, might be the week after that, but whenever we take the Chapter 18 test, you need to find an article, either in the newspaper or online, of some newspaper report, some news report, I should say. A news report of an event that happened in the Middle East. Say, Mr. Merrill, what's the Middle East? The Middle East consists of all the countries that we're talking about in this chapter, Chapter 18, or any country we've talked about in Chapter 17. So if you find something in the news concerning Saudi Arabia, concerning Iraq, Iran, concerning Turkey, concerning Israel, all you got to do is find something on the news, and let's make it, it has to be at least, or at the most, 1 year old. It got to be a relatively new piece of news. Mr. Merrill, I can't find. Yes, you can find. They've got plenty of news going on in the Middle East. So something that is found in the year 2019 or the year 2020. Find that newspaper article, find that online website that talks about it. What I need you to do is to either cut it out of the newspaper or print it off your computer and just include it in your packet with your Chapter 18 test, whenever that'll be. So that's all you got to do. That's your bonus assignment. Now let's get going. The Turkish coffee house. The coffee house is a part of everyday life in Turkey. It became popular in the 16th century. Coffee house is a source for information, camaraderie. As we get going into this section, let's talk about how the coffee house and the people of Turkey relate. First of all, Roman number 1, Islam and secularity. Turkish culture is a mix of its Middle East traditions and Western ideologies. Although 99% of Turks are Muslims, Turkey has adopted a constitution that encourages secularism. While most Middle East countries are dominated by Islam and Islamic law, the founders of Turkey desired to break with the Middle East and try to westernize its ways. Turkey has a Western-style system of government. It has free elections. However, the military is extremely influential, and will intervene if a political party causes too many problems. Prosperity has witnessed the growth of a prosperous middle class. The middle class has become a new center of power and influence and has at times protested the actions of the military and corrupt government. Not only are Western-style clothes common, they are preferred. For example, female government officials are not allowed to wear Muslim head coverings while inside government buildings. So again, yes, Islam is the dominant religion, but it's not controlling, necessarily, the government. The two most important places for social gatherings in a Turkish town are the coffee house and the mosque. Although Turkey is a secular nation and has favored westernization, Turkey is still heavily influenced by Islam. Cleanliness is an Islamic principle as well as in the coffee house. It is common for the owner to squirt a bottle of water on the floor from time to time to keep the dust from rising. The people practice the Muslim ritual of the call to prayer 5 times a day. According to Islamic teachings, a good Muslim will pray 5 times a day. Those 5 times are announced to the city each day, and most citizens adhere to the call of prayer. The length of time a person spends in prayer, though, best identifies their devotion to their faith. Muslims believe that the future will be better than the past, and that people are responsible for their own actions. Turks adhere to moral and social rules. While strict Muslim law is not enforced in Turkey, their morality is, and traditional laws have been influenced by their heritage in Islam. There are some Muslim phrases that are common in Turkey that we ought to be familiar with. The first one is salam. Salam means peace be unto you. It's a typical friendly greeting that you would give to a friend or family member. So instead of saying, hey, how's it going? Hi, it's good to see you again, we'd say salam, peace be upon you. Another one is masalah, which means God protect you from harm. Both phrases are used in everyday language in much the same way that Americans might respond with God bless you when someone sneezes. Masalah, achoo. Other Muslim beliefs include abstinence or moderation in drinking alcohol. The household extends beyond the nuclear family, and individuals are loyal to the entire family. Women especially are expected to offer hospitality to all guests. Marriage decisions are influenced by families, and in some conservative areas, dating is not permitted. Arranged marriages would take place. Islam attributes circumstances beyond one's control to a supreme being. They would believe that their God, Allah, controls all aspects of a person's life. Here's another word for you, inshallah. It means, if it is God's will. This phrase can be used in serious discussion or as part of a joke. For example, one day a fellow named Haja brought some material to a tailor and requested that he measure him and make a shirt from the material as soon as possible. The tailor measured him and said, I am very busy, but your shirt will be ready on Friday, inshallah. Haja returned on Friday, but the tailor apologized that the shirt was not ready and said, come back Monday and inshallah it will be ready. On Monday, Haja went back to the tailor only to find out that the shirt was still not finished and was told, try again Thursday, inshallah, and I promise it will be ready. This time, Haja wisely answered, how long will it take if we leave inshallah out of it? Good joke. Turks are not very time conscious, as we just saw from that joke. One of the attractions of the coffee house is that customers can linger there if they so choose. Hosts are concerned if their guests do not arrive promptly at the time given for an invitation to a social event, but they are very understanding. People and relationships are highly valued, and the culture supports the development and maintenance of long-term friendships. The history of the country and the emphasis on what future generations will accomplish is crucial to understanding the Turkish mindset. They look back to their glorious past when they were the most powerful empire in Europe, but they also look forward in hopes of making themselves greater than they currently are. Roman numeral 2, recreation, communication, and community integration. Turkish men go to the coffee house to become part of a group. It is often the information center for the town. Discussions of plans and ideas take place at the coffee house. Usually the mayor of the town is found at his unofficial office, the coffee house. It is not uncommon to find community notices tacked onto a coffee house bulletin board. Most communication takes place there, including political discussions and gossip. Conformity to group norms and traditions is expected. Trust and reliance within the group is important. Collectivistic values are expressed in unusual ways. At McDonald's, for example, which, by the way, they do have in Turkey, the employee of the month is not selected for outstanding work. Rather, the selection is made on a rotational basis. Oh, good. Well, this week you get to be employee of the month. Next week you get to be employee of the month. And the week after that, so-and-so gets to be employee of the month. That sounds so fair. Maybe not accurate, but fair. There is little, if any, two-way discussion or participation with subordinates, yet employees are told they are an essential part of the organization. They will not be fired as long as they are loyal to the company, even if they are performing at a subpar level. Communication tends to be high context in nature. For example, if a Turk says, "It is very hot," people assume that the person wants a ride in their car so they don't have to walk wherever they're going. This indirect form of communicating is common even among close family friends. Here in America, of course, we're very low context in the sense that we say what we mean to say, not in Turkey. Family gatherings are very important, as are deep friendships. Just like the sub-Saharan Africans, which we'll hopefully talk about next chapter, it is not impolite to drop in at a friend's home uninvited. Definitely not what a British person would do, however. Fostering relationships requires time, and Turks feel that such time is always well spent. The Turkish culture is feministic in nature. What that means is the people extend to meaning where the extent to which societies value caring for others, quality of life, and people. For example, within moments of an accident, everyone who witnessed the collision, along with those who did not, are on the scene. No one present would dream of minding their own business. Strangers then offer help, comments, and interpretations of the accident, and chaos often results. If a vehicle breaks down at night, Turks passing by generally do not hesitate to stop and offer assistance to the driver. To ignore someone in distress would be considered indecent. By contrast, many Americans wouldn't dare to stop for fear of their own personal safety. Turks care about others and pride themselves on hospitality and being helpful to strangers. Turks will sympathize with those who are less fortunate. They tend to be curious by nature, therefore very little in people's lives is a real secret. For example, Turkish geography. Just like in Italian, conversation is an essence of existence. When one Turkish stranger meets another, he typically asks where the first is from. What he is more interested in is who his parents are and where they are from. The next few minutes are spent quizzing the other person with questions like, "Oh, my brother-in-law's uncle is from there. Do you know Ahmet?" Or, "Surely you must know Ali." Turkish geography is really a game played to discover to which clan the stranger belongs. That's all we're going to cover for today in the notes. Once again, please make sure you have a good and safe Easter weekend. Hope you guys enjoy that. Be good, do good. See ya. Bye.